Right, so it's a very nature of any smart television or Android based smart televisions is that they get slower with time as you install more and more apps, as the demand for multiple processes being running in background increases, these smart televisions get slower. We can't do much about it with time because of the upgrades happening with the apps you install on your smart TVs being more demanding. The only thing we can do is have best practices in place so that you can fine tune your smart TV and reduce the overhead of too many processes being running in background, and do some other tips, follow some other tips that will help you to improve performance. So we're going to cover that in this video. Hopefully that will help. Let me know whichever tip you find best suited for you so that others can know as well in the comment section. Before we start with the very first one, and we're going to cover around 6 to 7 tips in this video, I would ask you to subscribe the channel because I keep on doing a lot of videos on smart television apps, best practices, reviews, and others as well. Right. So let's make a start. So the first thing I would tell you is to have your smart television connected through a LAN cable where possible. If you go to the network settings of your TV, you would see an option to connect to Wi-Fi and also to LAN to LAN. So if you come down here, you see the wired LAN option here, which is what my TV is connected to, right? The reason being, sometimes the network can't won't be too stable, and you would face issues like buffering and streaming issues if you connect it through Wi-Fi, if the network goes slower or it's not very stable. So for as far as the best practice is concerned, and if your TV is closer to the router and you can connect it through a cable, go for a LAN wired connection rather than going for a Wi-Fi. So that's tip number one. Just to let you know on that, if you connect to both Wi-Fi, like in this case, I have opted for Wi-Fi and also connected it through LAN cable. It goes to the LAN cable by default. So that's a good thing to do. So it will be on LAN cable by default. If something goes wrong on wired LAN, then it goes to Wi-Fi automatically without any break. So you get the continuity. So that's tip number one. Connect to LAN connection where possible. Let's move to the second one. So if you go to the settings of your television, there'll be a number of options in front of you which will help you improve performance. So if you scroll down, and bear in mind I'm doing it on Sony Bravia Android based smart television. The options might be a bit different on your smart TV. If you have any confusions, put in your comments and I'll be happy to respond back to you to clarify your doubts. But I mean, thumb rule would be, it should be same on all smart televisions to follow. It might be called a little different in your TV. So let me come down to the first one. You would find within the settings something called a location, which will be used by quite a few apps. If they use the location of your television, I don't think there will be many apps that will need it, so I would suggest that you set it off, because there will be, every time you use that particular app, there will be processes running in background which might not be required and might slow down your television. So the first thing, so the second tip I would give is to switch off the location. Next thing is, if you go to security and restrictions, within that you will see you can disable it if you don't need it to be verified, all app to be verified every time. That takes out some processing. At the same time, if you use apps like Kodi, Plex, and others, or if you use through APKs to have your apps installed on your television, it also helps you if you switch off the unknown sources within that. That's number three. The fourth tip I will give you, if you go to usage and diagnostics, you can always check this off. The reason being, this is more useful for the TV brands to be able to understand what's going wrong with their televisions, to rectify that and come up with a patch or improvements in the next release, but doesn't really help you too much. So if your TV is really getting slow, I would recommend that you switch off usage and diagnostics to prevent excessive extra processes running in background. So that's the next thing you can do definitely on your television. That's number four. number 5, I would recommend, if you scroll up somewhere on your TV settings, you will find about. So within that, if you go there, you will see system software updates. So about normally would show you what TV, what model, what version of Android TV, if it is Android based television, is installed, and it will also have system software update. If you go there, you can switch off automatic software download. So that will allow you to download operating system updates at your convenience whenever you want them to be installed, rather than your company or Google in this case for Android TVs pushing the installs to happen on your television, which might happen or slow down the processes or the apps that are running on your TV and might hit the performance. So that will allow you to, so switching it off will allow you to download the updates and install them at your own convenience. And it takes, at least for Android TV, it takes around 30, more than 30 minutes every time. So you can do it at your own convenience whenever you're not using the TV. Yeah. Okay, let's go back. The next thing I would tell you to do is to, if you go to storage and reset, if you are in trouble, some apps are really gone bad, you can't improve the performance, the last thing I would tell you to do is to do a factory reset. Should be the last option. You should uh, never get into this situation, but I've seen it quite a few times that nothing, if nothing works, just do a factory reset. That will also mean that you will have to set your television again as if you bought a new TV, install all apps, install all customizations that you put on your TV every time, connect it to Wi-Fi again, and do the digital tuning for satellite channels. So everything will need to be done again. I've done a separate video on that. So if you want help regarding how to factory reset and also how to build a new television from scratch, you can have a look under my YouTube channel, and you should be able to find that video, which should be handy for you. Right. Okay. So next, moving on, the next recommendation that I will give to you is to, if you go within the settings and look into under the apps, if you just open that, you would see the list of downloaded apps, and not only that, you would also see there'll be a good list of system apps as well as other processes that run on background. Right. So the thing is, the number of the more apps that you have on your television, there'll be more associated processes that will be triggered every time you use that app. So I would recommend, if you are not using an app for a long time, haven't used it for weeks or months, I would say just uninstall it. It's always good to have, and it's a best practice to have minimal number of applications installed on your television. Just uninstall them if you're not using it. That's one reason. Secondly, don't have too many applications open at the same time. It follows the same principle. Even if you have your laptop or your mobile, and if you have too many applications running at the same time, these applications have associated processes which fight for system bandwidth. So it will happen that a number of times your smart television, just like any other mobile or any other laptop, will be frozen. So the if that happens, what you can do is, if you go within apps, if you open it, there'll be an option to force kill the application. If yeah, like this one, if you can go there and then kill that particular application, whichever is making your smart TV to be frozen. Yeah. At the same time, within apps, within that particular app, you'll also have a clear cache option. In this case it's 0, but we can look into any other app. So you see here there is some cache which is always stored under the apps. If you don't need customizations for that particular app, if you don't need really that cache to be stored, you can clear it, and that will give some extra storage back to your television. Yeah. Okay, that's a good thing to do. At the same time, on each app you should also check for permissions. I mean, just customize it based on the needs, and if you need a microphone to be enabled for that, for like in this instance, if you need that app to be using your camera on your smart television. If you have it, any other external device that is connected, you can customize it to allow it or not to allow it. Yeah. Also, just keep an eye on the storage a particular app is using. If you don't really use that app, and if it is taking too much of space on your TV, just go and uninstall it. Right. I think that's it. I think I've covered around 6 to 7 good tips, and I think if you follow it, that should really help you to uh, I mean, for your smart television to perform better. Let me know whichever tip you found most important and helped you a lot. If you have anything else in your mind, just share it in the comment section so that others can be benefited by that as well. Like always, like and like my videos, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, post it into the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.